Amy Carter runs Southcart Books in Walsall. Amy, welcome to the programme. Do you remember the first book you read, or was read to you, perhaps I should say?
Well, funnily enough, it was a Roald Dahl book. It was The Twits. I can remember sitting in my bedroom, in bed, reading it, perhaps 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, so that was one I really enjoyed, and I've read it more than once.
Because I think the thing is, if you get to youngsters early enough, you will inspire them. They will get the feel, won't they, of it?
Oh yes, reading is very, very important to children. It helps them so much with their education, their language, their literature, and just make it fun. Reading should be fun, and it should be made fun for children. Were
you hooked from an early age then?
Yeah. I grew up, my mum was an author, so I grew up surrounded by books and reading all the time, and my mum used to write me poetry and everything, so...
Oh, that was nice, yeah. And did you go down to the local library and sort of have a good sit on the floor and thumb through them all?
Yeah, local library was, I'd probably say, fortnightly activity. Every couple of weeks, go to the library, pick yourself some books. It was good. It was very nice, and libraries should be welcoming and should be stocked full of very nice books for everyone.
Because it's the same principle as going to see a good film, isn't it? For the period of time you're watching that film, you forget everything else, don't you? You get totally immersed in it. It's the same with a book, and particularly, as you say, if you were sitting up in bed reading it, I mean, that was your world, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, a good book will draw you in. It will. You become one of the characters. You become part of that book, and it's perfect just to lose yourself for an hour or two, or even for just 20 minutes, just to be in a different world. It's so lovely.
You see, now you've got the best of everything, haven't you? Because you're surrounded by books all the time.
Every day. And it's great. So I can choose when I want to read, what I want to read. Yes, it's great.
I mean, was it a sort of conscious choice that you thought, this is what I want to do?
It was. Always being surrounded by books and always growing up with them. It was something I really loved. So, naturally, owning a bookshop, it'd just be the perfect thing to do.
How difficult is it for an independent bookshop these days?
It can be very, very difficult. I think with problems with some independent bookshops now is they don't evolve, they don't step outside their comfort zone. Nowadays you really have to use the internet, you have to use social media to talk to your customers, to get on with people and to sell. Really selling online is a big part nowadays.
So are you quite happy at the advent of the Kindle and for people to read that way?
Not so much the Kindle, because actually book sales on digital are actually declining, and actual physical books, yes they are, and they're growing more now. But actually selling books online, physical books, is a great way.
Because you can go into any bookshop, can't you? Whether it's one of the big glossy ones, or it's a small one, or it's a niche market such as you run, and you can just lose yourself in there, can't you?
Yeah. We try to have that atmosphere. We're really friendly. We've got sofas, we've got coffee, tea. If you just want to sit and read a book for half an hour, you can. We don't mind at all. We're always there.
So there's no net to catch them in and say, by the way, buy something before you go?
No, not necessarily. No, if they just want to, because they will come back. If we show a friendly atmosphere like Southcart Books has got, they will come back.
Welcome back. We are celebrating World Book Day. We were talking to Amy Carter from Southcart Books a short time ago. She runs the business in Walsall. We'll be talking to her again, and also to Lucy Onions, who is a published author, who, as all good authors do, they bring in their books, the last one and the new one. So how do you two know each other then?
We met through the shop.
Was there somebody who came in and read your books and had a cup of coffee and left?
Well, at the time, I found out about the shop through a free newspaper. I didn't actually know it was there, and me being an absolute book nerd, the first thing I did was go on the bus and went to the shop, and then you were just like, the shop now compared to what it was is just
completely different.
It's like an Aladdin's cave of every single book you can think of. It's amazing.
When you're writing, I mean, do you find that you think, I remember a phrase when I was picked up a book in there, and I'm not saying you plagiarise it, but that phrase gets in your mind and you start thinking, oh, maybe I could work around that?
Yeah, I think you draw inspiration from something you read, sayings and places. It's funny because the first book I wrote, Good for Nothing, the main character Leah opens her own bookshop.
Right.
And then I found Amy Scott's shop at Southcart Books. So it was really strange. And when I go into Southcart Books, it's exactly how I would expect Leah's bookshop to be.
So the new book, Shout the Call, what's that about then?
It's a girl who is a music photographer, and she goes on the road with a band called Shout the Call, and follows them. She goes on a tour bus with them. Lots of trials and tribulations along the way, and quite a twist. It's definitely young adult orientated, so that's the audience. I've had older people read it at my age. I mean, I'm 37, but I was quite stuck in a young adult mindset when I wrote it. But people seem to be enjoying it, older people and younger people. So
I've read it. It is a good book.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Good.
Thank you.
Well, there we are. We see there's the commercial over with. I mean, in terms of the sort of inspiration from your younger days, I mean, were you sort of read to when you were little, and that's where it all came from?
Oh yeah, constantly. Both me and my sister, my younger sister, we were spent hours reading, and our parents, particularly my dad, would read us books, Lord of the Rings. We got heavily into that for being read to. We just delved straight into that world. And then Amy was saying that the first book that she read was The Twits, and I actually believe, I mean, it was a long time ago, but I actually believe that may have been my first book that I read to myself. And that time when you think you can read to yourself and not say it out loud, it's like, wow, this is world changing.
Because I mean, it's a whole new thing, isn't it, to move from being read to and enjoying being read to actually writing it yourself. I mean, when was the point at which you thought, I think I might have a go at this?
I had a very encouraging English teacher at school, a brilliant Mrs. Matkin. She's around, love you. But a very encouraging teacher. So I started writing short stories at school. Little novellas and just small piece of fiction, and then going through college, even though I wasn't doing anything particularly to do with writing at college, I've always got stories in my head. I've had stories in my head since a young age, and it's just come to a fact now that I've got the time to spend on them. So yeah.
So is it the pad and the pen by the bed, and you wake up in the middle of the night and must write this down?
That is exactly what happens. It is exactly what happens. It sounds cliched, but I will sometimes wake up at stupid times in the early morning and wake up and think, I've got to write this down. So there's always a notebook and a pen, but then generally I go downstairs, get a cup of coffee, and I can be writing like 5-6 chapters before I take the little into school in the morning.
I'm just trying to guess, but from here, the Shout the Call looks as though it's, 250 pages, something like that, maybe even slightly more.
Yeah, around about.
I'm just kind of wondering
300 odd.
300?
Yeah.
How long it took you to write it?
The writing, the actual writing part didn't take too long, maybe a few months. It's the actual editing and getting it proofread, getting it edited, and then self-publishing it. That takes the time. So I would say it was about 16-18 months as a whole for it to get out.
When you started writing this, did you know how it was going to end, or does that happen as you go along?
I get the ending. I get quite a distinct ending.
And then you work backwards, do you?
And then I work. I mean, it does evolve, so it won't be. I write the ending down first, so I've got something to work towards. But it will evolve. Generally, though, they stick to pretty much what I thought in the first place.
Yeah. So World Book Day. You said you've got a young daughter.
Yes.
Are you encouraging her to read all the time?
Oh, what's she like? She's an absolute. She's like me. She loves books. She loves reading. She reads really well herself. She loves being read to, and quite often she will just pull a book out and sit and read. The one thing she's she's saying now she wants to read without saying it out loud.
Yeah.
She's really quite adamant that that's what she wants to do, and I've explained to her that it just
That'll
happens. So, yeah,
That's great.
She loves
Well,
it.
World Book Day. I hope you enjoy your World Book Day. Amy and Lucy, thanks for being with us.